What's up guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Morgan. I make videos talking about my career change to UX design, how you can make a career change to UX design as well, and the pain of existence. If that kind of content interests you, make sure to hit subscribe. So today's video is again going to be about the realities of being a UX designer because it gets romanticized so much. So I was watching a Leon Lush video and he was going over a TikTok that I guess a product designer at Meta, like what a day in her life is like as a product designer. I have not watched the TikTok, but I think he played through the whole thing in his video and just sort of reacted to how kind of ridiculous it was that, you basically go work at an amusement park of an office and all you're doing is going out to eat and going for like bike rides and stuff and like not really any conversation about the work. I don't know this person. I am not shading this person. I have not looked at their account or anything like that. But I do feel like product design, UX design is romanticized so much on social media. I know that it was when I was looking up videos on what it's like being a UX or product designer, and it's a lot of like startup culture where you have like these, it's Silicon Valley type culture where it's a lot of like fancy snacks and dogs in the office and like nap rooms and stuff like that. Like I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, but it's stuff like that where it's like sort of like quirky stuff. I get emails, I get messages on LinkedIn, I get comments on my YouTube videos, people even find me on Instagram. Please don't find my personal Instagram, by the way. I get a lot of questions about things that I can tell that these people have seen videos like this about, like, working in tech as a UX designer or a product designer. And it's like one of those quirky videos about like how fun it is. I'm about to destroy all of that. So let's get started. One of the questions that I get the most, and it's actually insane. Not one person has asked me about like the type of environment that I work in. Not one person has asked me about like retirement benefits or, career progression or anything like that. I get asked if there are snacks. And you all know who you are. Yeah, I mean, most companies will have like a break room where there will be snacks, like chips and cheese sticks and apples and oranges and stuff like that. But like I've been asked like, oh, are there like the fancy snacks, or can you bring dogs to the office or stuff like that? It's like, if a company having snacks is your deciding factor on whether or not to go into a specific career, don't go into that career. Snacks should not be what makes your decision for you. So to answer that question, yeah, most jobs will have snacks and cafeterias and stuff. It might not be like super fancy. It's probably just like a normal, almost like a school cafeteria. That should really not be your deciding factor. Yeah, bring snacks, get a Costco membership. I also get asked a lot about what type of hours that I work. So I work in-house. If you're working for a company and you're an in-house designer, generally you're working a 9 to 5. If you are a contractor and you're working for an agency, your hours might be more or less flexible. It really depends. Maybe you have a really tight deadline for a client and you're asked to work overtime or something. Maybe you're not on a project. Like it really all depends. But from my experience as an in-house designer, I work 9 to 5, so 40 hours a week. I also get asked a lot about like if I work in a studio, and this one isn't as crazy because companies will have studios dedicated to design, and it might be, more of a creative space. I personally just work in kind of like a normal looking office. We do have nice conference rooms and work areas with whiteboards and things like that. But yeah, it's just sort of like an open floor plan, normal office. There are like, it's more in the agency world that there will be fancier design studios, but that's usually like, you'll bring clients there or something. But, for in-house designers, it's probably just going to be a relatively normal looking office. I also get questions about sort of like the fun time things about like team building and all that kind of stuff. We do that at my job. We plan happy hours, outings. We're trying to do more stuff related to design to get the designers together. For us, it's really self-organizing, but there are company-run events, like there was ice skating. That's company to company. I think that is a valid question to ask if you're in an interview, is like, are there any team building things? I do think that's valid, but I think the questions more for me are like, how much can we not work, basically, like some of those videos show. And then of course I get asked about the pay. I do feel like that is a fair question, of course. Again, this is going to depend on your area and the type of company that you're working for. I work for a pretty big company that is really putting a focus on UX design. So even entry-level designers like myself are paid pretty handsomely. I will be making a video in the future talking about my salary progression, so I'm not going to talk about my salary in this video, but it will really depend. I've seen, people ask for volunteer designers for projects, so that's zero pay. For entry level, really just look up in your area. There are websites that you can use. I like LinkedIn Salary. There's Indeed, and then there are some other ones I can't remember right now, but I'll put them in the description. But yeah, you do, in the tech space, you generally get paid like pretty well. Like you could, with a few years of experience, you could be making well into six figures. So I want to throw some advice in here for those of you that are, asking me about snacks, some things that you should look for in a company. Like, you have to really think about what will actually make you happy in a job. That's going to vary from person to person. If snacks is what's making you happy in a job, do better for yourself. Do you want to work on a variety of projects? Maybe the agency world makes sense for you. If you want to see a product through, in-house probably makes more sense. Another thing you might want to think about is, like, does the company offer stock options? What does the entire compensation plan look like? Do they do bonuses? If pay is a motivator for you, it was for me. Is there a good work-life balance? That was not as important to me because I'm very ambitious. I really like working and I really love being a UX designer. So now that I've been in it a little bit more, I lucked into a company that really values a strong work-life balance. And now that I've experienced that, that is now a huge motivator for me. You should also think about, how does the company feel about education? Will they help you get an advanced degree? Will they pay for courses or seminars? That's an important question to ask. What does career progression look like? You can ask them about if there's a lot of internal hires or internal promotions or external hires. That's another thing to think about, is like, what does your career actually look like at this company, and what does that career path look like? Because every company is different. And something that you should look at is the company's turnover rate. Like, a lot of these big tech companies that do have the fancy offices, same thing with the startups, the fancy offices with the dogs and the snacks, that's fine. And I'm not going to judge a company based on that, but a lot of those companies have really high turnover rates. They do layoffs, huge layoffs constantly. So that's something to pay attention to. Are the snacks worth an unstable career? So yeah, I just wanted to make this video just because it's such a shame when people are talking about what it's like being a UX designer. What they focus on is things like, the snacks, focusing on the building and what the building looks like and all the cool stuff. And it's like, that's awesome. Truly, like, I don't want to make it sound like I hate Silicon Valley. I think a ton of innovation comes out of there and I think that's awesome. But I just feel like people focus on the wrong things. People will ask me about my day-to-day and what it's like being a UX designer, for sure. But when I deal out the reality that it's a lot of meetings, a lot of collaboration, workshops, documentation, no one asks more about it. Like, what kind of workshops are you doing? How can I get better at design documentation? Stuff like that. But then when people ask me about what my office looks like, they always want to know more details. And I get that there's a lot of glitz and glam when it comes to working in tech, especially in a creative role. But you have to remember, you're working for a business and there's more than just snacks. So please do your research into places that you're applying. Don't go for the we're a family, we have snacks and dogs, and we're looking for a rock star type of companies. Like, really look into places. Do they have good reviews from previous employees? Is there a lot of turnover? Please just protect yourself. Focus on what's actually going to set you up for success in the future, whatever that means to you. So yeah, that was just my 2 cents, just because I've seen this a lot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.